Today, when most people read the book of Revelation, they are looking for a timeline. We look for hidden codes. We look for political figures. We look for a roadmap of future disasters, a sequence of plagues, and a way to escape them. To the modern mind, Revelation is a frightening puzzle to solve. And the most famous piece of that puzzle is a scroll sealed with 7 seals. We assume those seals are just holding back wrath. We assume the scroll is nothing more than a container for the apocalypse. But that is not how the ancient world saw it. And that is not why the author of the book was weeping. In the 5th chapter of Revelation, the Apostle John is standing in the throne room of heaven. It is a place of overwhelming, unapproachable glory. Lightning flashes, thunder rumbles, heavenly beings are falling down in constant worship. But in the middle of all this blinding majesty, the focus suddenly narrows to a single physical object. John looks at the right hand of God, who is seated on the throne, and there, resting in the hand of the Almighty, is a scroll. It is a very specific kind of document. The text tells us it is written on the inside and on the outside, and it is locked shut with 7 wax seals. At first glance, we might think the central question of this scene is about what terrifying events are hidden inside the parchment. But the text is doing something deeper. The crisis in heaven is not about what the scroll contains. The crisis is about whether the scroll can be opened at all. A mighty angel steps forward and shouts with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to break the seals and open the scroll?" It is not a polite question. It is a challenge thrown out to the entire universe. And what happens next is stunning. Silence. No one in heaven, no one on earth, no one under the earth can step forward. No archangel is strong enough. No human king is righteous enough. No prophet is holy enough. No empire has the authority. The entire created universe is searched, and it comes up completely empty. And John's reaction to this cosmic silence is absolute devastation. He writes, "I wept and wept, because no one was found who was worthy to open the scroll or look inside." That sounds small. It is not. Why would an old, exiled apostle weep so bitterly over a closed book? If this scroll is just a list of harsh judgments, a timeline of terrifying plagues, wars, and cosmic collapse, you would think John would be relieved that it stays shut. If the scroll is just bad news, keeping it sealed is a mercy. The safest thing for humanity would be for the seals to remain unbroken forever. But John is not relieved. He is broken. He weeps uncontrollably. He weeps because he knows what that scroll actually represents. This document is not just a schedule of the end times. It is something much more personal and much more profound. It holds the answer to every injustice, every tear, and every broken promise in human history. John knows that if the scroll remains closed, the world remains broken. Evil wins. The story ends in tragedy. But to understand why heaven is paralyzed by this object, and why John's heart is breaking over it, we have to look closely at how it was made. We have to understand what a 7-sealed document meant in the ancient Roman and Jewish world, because John's original first-century readers knew exactly what this object was. And once you see it through their eyes, the scroll changes from a terrifying puzzle into the greatest promise God ever made. When the mighty angel shouts his challenge into the throne room, the question echoes across 3 distinct realms: heaven, earth, and under the earth. But notice the exact word the angel uses. He does not ask, "Who is strong enough to break the seals?" If opening the scroll was merely a test of raw, cosmic strength, heaven had plenty of candidates. The archangel Michael, who commands the militant armies of God, was standing right there. Gabriel was there. The magnificent, burning creatures that surround the throne were there. Any of them had the spiritual power to break wax and unroll a piece of parchment. But the angel does not ask for power. He asks for worthiness. Who is worthy to break the seals? The Greek word used by John is axios. It is a fascinating word. In the ancient marketplace, it was a term used for the balancing of scales. It meant to have corresponding weight, to be of equal value, to perfectly match the requirement. The angel is not looking for someone with enough muscle. He is looking for someone with the exact moral, legal, and relational weight required to match the document. And so, the greatest search in the history of the universe begins. They search heaven, but angels, for all their blazing purity, are not human. They did not lose the earth, and they have no legal right to inherit it. They cannot stand in the place of fallen humanity. Heaven is disqualified. The search sweeps across the earth, looking among the living. Surely someone among the billions of humans is righteous enough. They look for a king, but every king is corrupt. They look for a priest, but every priest is flawed. They look back through history at the great heroes of the faith. Abraham lied. Moses struck the rock in anger. David was a murderer. Every human being is carrying their own moral debt, and no one can pay the ransom for the world when they are already spiritually bankrupt themselves. The earth is disqualified. Finally, the search moves under the earth, to the realm of the dead, but the dead have already been conquered by death. They cannot save anyone else. Heaven, earth, under the earth. The result is absolute silence. This is not a dramatic pause. This is a terrifying realization. If no one has the corresponding weight to open the scroll, then whatever God has planned for the redemption of the universe is permanently stalled. The story of humanity will end exactly where it is right now, in suffering, in disease, in injustice, and in the grave. This is why John's reaction is so extreme. He writes, "I wept and wept." The original word here is not a quiet, dignified tear rolling down a cheek. It is a word used for loud, convulsive sobbing. It is the wailing you hear at a funeral. John is not having a panic attack over a scary book of plagues. He is mourning the final tragedy of the human race. He sees the cure to the universe resting in the right hand of the Almighty, but there is no one qualified to claim it. The silence in the throne room is the sound of lost hope. But this raises a deeper question. Why is the standard so impossibly high? What kind of document is this, that not even an archangel or a patriarch is allowed to touch it? If this scroll was merely a historical timeline, anyone could read it. But the text is doing something deeper. To understand why the angel demands a specific kind of legal worthiness, we have to look closely at the 7 seals themselves. Because in the ancient Roman and Jewish world, a document sealed 7 times was not a prophecy. It was a title deed. And the property waiting to be reclaimed was the earth itself. To modernize, a sealed book is just a secret. But to a first-century audience, a scroll locked with 7 seals was a very specific legal document. Under Roman law, a will or a final inheritance document was required to be witnessed by 7 people. Each witness would press their personal seal into the wax along the edge of the parchment. The document could only be opened by the rightful heir, and it could only be opened when the time came to claim the inheritance. But there is an older, deeper biblical layer here. In ancient Israel, when a piece of land was lost or sold because of poverty or debt, a title deed was written. The prophet Jeremiah gives us a clear picture of this in the 32nd chapter of his book. When Jeremiah buys a field, he writes the deed, seals it, and has witnesses sign it to make the transaction legally binding. In property law of that time, the outside of the document often held a summary of the terms, while the inside held the actual details of the inheritance. Everyone could see what it would cost to buy the land back, but only the rightful owner could break the wax and take possession. If an Israelite family lost their land, the law of Moses provided a way to get it back. A close relative, known as a kinsman redeemer, could step forward, pay the price, and reclaim the property for the family. But to do that, the redeemer had to meet strict conditions. They had to be a true relative. They had to be willing to redeem it, and they had to possess the wealth to pay the full cost. The sealed deed was the legal proof, waiting for someone qualified to break the seals and take the land back. And notice the detail John gives us in Revelation. The scroll is written on the inside and the outside. That is rare. In the ancient world, a scroll usually only had writing on the inside where the material was smoother. But the prophet Ezekiel once saw a scroll exactly like this. In the 2nd chapter of his book, Ezekiel is handed a scroll written on the front and the back, and it is filled with words of lament and mourning over a broken world. Later, the prophet Daniel is told to seal up his own visions of the future until the end of the age. When you pull these historical and biblical threads together, the object in the right hand of God begins to make sense. Many scholars understand this exact combination of images as the key to the tension in the throne room. The scroll is not just a random container for plagues, it is the title deed to creation. It is the legal document containing God's master plan to reclaim a world that was lost to sin, death, and corruption. Humanity lost the inheritance in the garden. The earth was handed over to a different dominion. And ever since that moment, creation has been groaning, waiting for a true heir to step forward, pay the price, and take the world back. The angel is not just asking for a hero. He is asking for a kinsman redeemer for the entire human race. This is why the silence in heaven is so devastating. If the document cannot be opened, the earth is permanently lost. The story of redemption ends in a cosmic foreclosure. If this scroll is the title deed to the earth, the question is not just who has the power to take it. The question is who has the legal and moral right to claim it. As John stands weeping in the throne room, the devastating silence is finally broken. One of the 24 elders steps forward. He looks at the weeping apostle and gives him a direct command. Do not weep. The elder points toward the center of the blinding light and announces the greatest news the universe could ever hear. Someone has been found. Someone is worthy to take the scroll and break its 7 seals. But listen closely to the titles the elder uses. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has triumphed. To a first-century Jewish mind, these titles were not subtle. They were explosive. The Lion of Judah was an ancient prophecy from the book of Genesis. It was the promise of a fierce, unstoppable ruler. The Root of David was a promise from the prophet Isaiah. It meant the true king of Israel was returning to sit on the throne, finally restoring the shattered kingdom. These are titles of conquest. These are titles of absolute military supremacy. For centuries, the people of God had been waiting for the lion. They were waiting for a warrior who would rise up, crush their political enemies, overthrow corrupt empires, and take the earth back by force. They expected a conqueror with a sword, and according to the elder, the lion has finally arrived. The victory has been won. The conqueror has triumphed. So John turns. He wipes his tears and turns to look at the center of the throne, expecting to see the fierce, roaring Lion of Judah. He expects to see the ultimate warrior king stepping forward to claim the deed to the earth. But there is no lion. There is a moment in the text here that shifts everything we think we know about how God operates in history. It is the greatest reversal in the entire book of Revelation. John writes, "Then I saw a lamb, looking as if it had been slain, standing at the center of the throne." He hears a lion, but he sees a lamb. And not just a normal lamb, a slaughtered lamb. A lamb bearing the brutal, visible wounds of sacrifice. This is not a mistake. It is the theological center of the apocalypse. When humanity imagines a redeemer strong enough to take back the earth, we imagine violence. We imagine a God who conquers his enemies by crushing them. We imagine raw, unapproachable strength. But God's idea of power is completely different. The lion is the lamb. They are not two different characters. They are the same person. John is being shown that the Lion of Judah achieved his victory precisely by becoming the slaughtered lamb. Jesus did not win the right to open the scroll by raising an army. He won the right to open the scroll by letting an empire crush him. He did not shed the blood of his political enemies. He shed his own blood. The ultimate victory in the universe was not a military conquest. It was a cross. This completely changes how we must read the rest of the book. Revelation is often treated as a story of God finally using the world's violent tactics to beat the world at its own game. But the image at the very center of the throne tells a different story. The title deed to the earth is not reclaimed by the sword. It is reclaimed by sacrifice. But to understand how a wounded lamb could ever possess the power to rule the universe, we have to look closely at the rest of John's description. Because this is not a weak, helpless animal. And the exact way this lamb is described introduces a new, strange detail that makes the whole scene even harder to ignore. The image of a slaughtered lamb standing at the center of heaven is shocking enough on its own. But John does not just see a wounded animal. He gives a specific, bizarre description of the lamb's anatomy. And it is here that the modern reader usually gets confused or uncomfortable. Revelation chapter 5. Verse 6 says the lamb has 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. If we try to paint this literally on a canvas, we end up with a monster, a creature out of a nightmare. But John is not giving us a physical photograph. He is writing apocalyptic literature. In the biblical imagination, numbers and physical features are not just measurements. They are theological symbols. They communicate a deeper reality. In the ancient world, a horn was the ultimate symbol of strength. It represented the unyielding power of a king or the military might of an empire. When a beast lowered its horns, it was preparing to crush its enemy. To have a horn meant you had power, but to have 7 horns? In biblical numbers, 7 is the number of fullness and completion. 7 horns is a statement of absolute, unbreakable power. It means omnipotence. Then there are the eyes. The text says, "The Lamb has 7 eyes." To understand what this means, we have to listen to the Old Testament prophets. Hundreds of years earlier, the prophet Zechariah had a vision of a golden lampstand. In the 4th chapter of his book, Zechariah is told that the 7 lamps represent the eyes of the Lord, which range throughout the earth. 7 eyes mean complete vision, total awareness, omniscience. Nothing is hidden from this Lamb. He sees every hidden injustice. He knows every quiet tear. He understands the full, crushing weight of the human condition because his gaze penetrates every corner of creation. Pause for a second and see what has emerged. So far, this has not been a random set of strange details. The vision has been carefully building a portrait. Look at the impossible paradox John has built. Look at the combination of these 3 details: wounds, horns, eyes. The Lamb has the wounds of a victim. He has the horns of an invincible king. He has the eyes of an all-knowing God. He is completely broken, completely powerful, and completely aware, all at the same time. In the human world, we usually split these traits apart. If a human ruler has absolute power, they almost always lack deep, wounded empathy for the oppressed. If someone is a deeply wounded victim of injustice, they usually lack the power to do anything about it. But at the center of the throne, these realities are united. The one who holds all power is the very one who took all the pain. The one who sees everything is the one who suffered everything. This is not just apocalyptic poetry. This is the exact legal and moral qualification required to open the title deed of the earth. And this explains what happens next. The Lamb begins to move. He steps directly toward the right hand of the Almighty. For a normal human or even a mighty angel to walk directly into the center of the blinding glory of God would mean instant destruction. Fragile creatures cannot casually approach absolute holiness. The throne is a consuming fire. The majesty of God is unapproachable. The Lamb does not look like a traditional conqueror. And yet, this specific Lamb is the only one who can step toward the throne without being consumed. He reaches out his wounded hand to take the scroll from the Almighty. And when he finally takes it, heaven does not panic about the coming judgments. Instead, heaven does something entirely different. When the Lamb steps forward and takes the scroll from the right hand of the Almighty, the tension in the throne room finally breaks. If the scroll was only a weapon of mass destruction, you would expect heaven to brace for impact. You would expect silence, or fear, or a solemn preparation for cosmic war. But heaven does not panic. Heaven erupts. The moment the Lamb's wounded hands touch the parchment, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fall down. They do not cover their eyes in terror. They pull out harps. They hold up golden bowls full of incense, which the text tells us are the prayers of the saints. All those centuries of prayers rising from a broken earth, prayers for justice, prayers for healing, prayers for the kingdom to come are finally being answered. And then they sing. But they do not sing an old hymn. Revelation chapter 5, verse 9 says they sang a new song. In the biblical imagination, a new song is only sung when God performs a new, historic act of salvation. The Israelites sang a new song after crossing the Red Sea. But that was a temporary deliverance from an earthly empire. What is happening here is the ultimate deliverance of the cosmos. Listen to the words they sing to the Lamb. You are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals, because you were slain. And with your blood you purchased for God persons from every tribe and language and people and nation. This is the theological climax of the scene. This is exactly why the lion had to be a slaughtered lamb. The earth was not taken back by military force. It was bought back. It was purchased. In the ancient world, to redeem something meant to pay a ransom, to buy a slave out of the market, to pay the debt on a foreclosed piece of land. The elders are declaring that humanity was trapped in a debt it could never pay. We were enslaved to sin, and the earth was bound to corruption. No human king had the wealth to buy it back. No archangel had the legal right. But the Lamb did. And the currency he used was not silver or gold, it was his own life. His sacrifice was the exact corresponding weight required to balance the scales of divine justice. This completely rewrites how power works in God's kingdom. The Lamb is worthy to rule history not because he killed his enemies, but because he died for them. He did not conquer the earth to enslave its people. He conquered death to set them free. And the elders make this clear in their very next line. They sing, "You have made them to be a kingdom and priests to serve our God, and they will reign on the earth." Notice the reversal here. When a human empire conquers a nation, it makes the people into servants. It strips their dignity. It taxes their labor. But when the Lamb conquers, he takes broken, captive people from every language and nation, and he elevates them. He does not make them slaves. He makes them royalty and priests. He restores the exact vocation humanity lost in the Garden of Eden. The scroll is the title deed to the earth, and the Lamb is securing the inheritance for his people. The kinsman redeemer has paid the price. The legal right to the universe has been reclaimed. The desperate search is over. But taking the scroll is only the first step. The document is still sealed. The wax has not yet been broken. And as the Lamb prepares to unroll history, the scene is about to change violently. Because reclaiming a stolen property means evicting the darkness that still occupies it. The famous judgments of Revelation are about to begin. The seals are about to shatter. They are loud. They are terrifying. But they are not arbitrary destruction. The breaking of the seals is moving toward a destination that was promised long before Rome ever existed. The Lamb holds the scroll. The right to rule has been secured by his blood. The inheritance is legally his. But there is a problem. The earth is still occupied. When a kinsman redeemer in the ancient world paid the price to reclaim a foreclosed property, the transaction was not instantly finished. Taking the deed was only the first step. The second step was taking possession. If enemies or corrupt tenants were living on the land, they had to be removed. The land had to be cleared before the rightful owner could live there. This changes how we read the terrifying chapters that follow. When the Lamb begins to break the wax seals on the scroll, the famous apocalyptic judgments begin. The four horsemen ride out. Conquest, war, famine, and death sweep across the earth. The stars fall. The sky rolls up like a scroll. The mountains are moved from their places. To a modern reader, this looks like the Lamb is suddenly destroying the world he just died to save. It feels like a contradiction, but the text is doing something deeper. These judgments are not arbitrary wrath. They are a cosmic eviction. The Lamb is unrolling the hidden realities of human rebellion. By breaking the seals, he is exposing the corruption that has occupied his property for thousands of years. He is dismantling the corrupt political empires, the economic systems, and the spiritual darkness that have held humanity hostage. The Apostle Paul wrote in the 8th chapter of Romans that all of creation is groaning. He said the earth is in bondage to decay, waiting for the true children of God to be revealed. Creation is tired of the violence. It is tired of the graves. It is waiting to be freed. The breaking of the seals is the painful, terrifying process of removing that bondage. And this becomes entirely clear when the Lamb breaks the 5th seal. When the 5th seal shatters, John does not see another plague. He does not see a natural disaster. He sees an altar, and under the altar, he sees the souls of the martyrs. These are the people who had been crushed by the empires of the world because they maintained their allegiance to the Lamb. And they are crying out with a loud voice. They ask, "How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" Look closely at what they are asking. They are not asking for revenge out of petty human anger. They are asking about the title deed. They are asking, when will the eviction be complete? When do we get the land back? When does the rightful king take his throne? They are told to rest just a little longer. The story is not quite finished. The scroll must be completely unrolled. The earth must be completely cleared. This is why the judgments of Revelation are necessary. God cannot bring the New Jerusalem down to a world that is still ruled by Babylon. The old, violent systems must be dismantled so the new creation can breathe. The judgments are loud. They are terrifying, and they shake the very foundations of the earth. But they are not the final word. The breaking of the seals is not leading to an empty, burning wasteland. The scroll is moving toward a destination that was promised long before Rome ever existed. When the judgments of Revelation begin to fall, the world looks like it is spiraling into absolute chaos. To a casual reader, it looks as though the author of history has lost control of the plot. But the vision in chapter 5 tells us the exact opposite. History is not unraveling, it is being unrolled, because the scroll is not falling out of the sky. It is firmly held in the scarred hands of the Lamb. And that changes how we live in the present. When we look at the news today, when we see the persistence of war, the reality of disease, the corruption of human empires, and the quiet tragedies of ordinary life, it is incredibly easy to feel exactly what the Apostle John felt. It is easy to look at the world and weep. It is easy to believe that the scroll of human suffering is permanently sealed, that the injustice will never be answered, that the earth has been lost forever to the darkness. But the elder's command to John is the exact same command to us. Do not weep. The Lion of the tribe of Judah has triumphed. The transaction is complete. The ransom has been paid. The kinsman redeemer has stepped forward. And the title deed of the universe has already been transferred to its rightful owner. We are just waiting for the final eviction. And we know exactly how the story ends. John gives us a preview of the final destination at the very end of chapter 5. Earlier in the chapter, the angels searched heaven, earth, and under the earth, and the result was an absolute devastating silence. No one was worthy. No one could speak. But by the end of the chapter, that silence is gone. John looks up, and he hears the voice of 1,000,000 angels circling the throne. The text says there were thousands upon thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000. They are singing with a loud voice, "Worthy is the Lamb, who was slain, to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise." But the song does not stop with the angels. The redemption the Lamb has accomplished is so massive, so cosmic, that the song cannot be contained in heaven. It spills over into the very creation that is waiting to be freed. John writes that he heard every creature in heaven, on earth, under the earth, and on the sea, singing a final chorus. To him who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power, forever and ever. The great silence of human despair has been replaced by the deafening worship of a redeemed universe. Everything that was broken is singing. Everything that was lost has been found. This is the beauty of the apocalyptic vision. Revelation is not trying to scare you. It is trying to comfort you. It is pulling back the curtain of reality to show you that no matter what empire is currently marching across the earth, the true king is already standing at the center of the throne. If this journey has helped you see the book of Revelation with fresh eyes, consider subscribing so you do not miss the next discovery. The object in the right hand of God was not a puzzle. It was not a timeline of terror. The scroll was never just a scroll. It was the ultimate title deed to creation, safely resting in the hands of the slaughtered lamb. When the judgments of Revelation begin to fall, the world looks like it is spiraling into absolute chaos. To a casual reader, it looks as though the author of history has lost control of the plot. But the vision in chapter 5 tells us the exact opposite. History is not unraveling. It is being unrolled. Because the scroll is not falling out of the sky. It is firmly held in the scarred hands of the Lamb. And that changes how we live in the present. When we look at the news today, when we see the persistence of war, the reality of disease, the corruption of human empires, and the quiet tragedies of ordinary life, it is incredibly easy to feel exactly what the Apostle John felt. It is easy to look at the world and weep. It is easy to believe that the scroll of human suffering is permanently sealed, that the injustice will never be answered, that the earth has been lost forever to the darkness. But the elder's command to John is the exact same command to us. Do not weep. The Lion of the tribe of Judah has triumphed. The transaction is complete. The ransom has been paid. The kinsman redeemer has stepped forward. And the title deed of the universe has already been transferred to its rightful owner. We are just waiting for the final eviction. And we know exactly how the story ends. John gives us a preview of the final destination at the very end of chapter 5. Earlier in the chapter, the angels searched heaven, earth, and under the earth, and the result was an absolute, devastating silence. No one was worthy. No one could speak. But by the end of the chapter, that silence is gone. John looks up, and he hears the voice of 1,000,000 angels circling the throne. The text says there were thousands upon thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000. They are singing with a loud voice, "Worthy is the Lamb, who was slain, to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise." But the song does not stop with the angels. The redemption the Lamb has accomplished is so massive, so cosmic, that the song cannot be contained in heaven. It spills over into the very creation that is waiting to be freed. John writes that he heard every creature in heaven, on earth, under the earth, and on the sea, singing a final chorus. To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power, forever and ever. The great silence of human despair has been replaced by the deafening worship of a redeemed universe. Everything that was broken is singing. Everything that was lost has been found. This is the beauty of the apocalyptic vision. Revelation is not trying to scare you. It is trying to comfort you. It is pulling back the curtain of reality to show you that no matter what empire is currently marching across the earth, the true king is already standing at the center of the throne. If this journey has helped you see the book of Revelation with fresh eyes, consider subscribing so you do not miss the next discovery. The object in the right hand of God was not a puzzle. It was not a timeline of terror. The scroll was never just a scroll. It was the ultimate title deed to creation, safely resting in the hands of the slaughtered lamb.